important. But the bigger piece, she said, was that the people that did the forgiveness work, even though it wasn't easy, when their cancer was gone, it tended to not come back.
Right.
Again, there's variables there. It's very important when you talk about this situation to put the variables in. So I'm just wanting to
no, that's very good. Thank you. So how does one do, quote unquote, forgiveness work?
Well, that's why that book has so many chapters on learning to fall, quelling the emotional storms, anger can heal. There's a real gritty part in that book that tells people, you know, and you've heard it before, but if you're going through hell, which when people are in treatment, I just had one of my patients call today, and she's at 7 months, and she goes, I'm having sensations, and, you know, my mind's starting to get the best of me, and it's like if your mind starts getting afraid, your immune system is not as strong. Guess what? Fear does not make us strong.
Yes. Well, there is a difference between healthy fear and unhealthy fear, and the healthy fear is about galvanizing people to take the actions that are necessary to save themselves.
Stay healthy. Good. I like that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. See, that's where when we were talked before, you just have these beautiful insights that you use like punctuation to whatever I'm saying. It's better when I say it with you.
Oh, that's wonderful, Carolyn. Thank you.
So that's
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I also love your term, dancing with the darkness. So
I actually talk about dancing a lot. I talk about the health team that you hire, that you're going to be. You have to have somebody who you can follow. You know, in a dance partnering and pairing, you follow the lead, right? You know,
yes.
But if you can't even understand somebody, let alone if you feel like they aren't listening to you, there's no collaboration. Well, then you can't dance with them. The old style of medicine before the digital age was a little bit like dictatorship, okay? I mean, I'm not calling anybody out, but, you know, we didn't have the access online to all these diseases, to all these drugs. So if a doctor told us, you've got to take this, you've got to do that, well, then we had to sort of, you know, nod our bobblehead, you know, doll bodies and go, yes, doctor, yes, doctor. But that's all changed.
Right. So no more one-way communication with an authority figure.
No.
This is where we empower ourselves. And, you know, I just have to, first of all, I love your thought-provoking questions, and I want to read a few to our audience.
Good. Perfect.
But first, Carolyn, I want to just ask you about the controversy around this. The whole idea that cancer has an emotional equation, there's an emotional quotient to it, can border on blaming the victim, would you say?
Well, that's like, remember I just said earlier that I was embarrassed when I got this condition because I'd been meditating, doing yoga, no sugar, wheat, or flour, no drugs or alcohol. I mean, just like, here's this like really boring life that most people, right? Monastic, except I am happily married, thank you, for 20 years. So anyway, but I mean, otherwise it looks pretty, you know, austere, okay? And yet the invader got there. You know, that's my genetics. That was my genetic line, and also stress.
Right.
All that work I was doing, you know, as I was saying to the book or in the writing of the book and all that.
Sure. The genetic roulette plus all your hyper stress, your very, very, very full life. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about emotion for a minute. Sometimes, you know, busyness is dizziness, right? So sometimes, So sometimes we can busy ourselves to distract ourselves from things that we need to resolve.
Right.
heal, address.
Right. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And these distractors can be very destructive. Yeah.
But they can come dressed as constructive.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Writing books. And, perfecting your performance craft.
Mm-hmm.
I had big tears with American Idol last night because when you're a performer like I am,
yeah,
you just watch performers because we all learn from everything, right?
Oh, yes.
So even constructive busyness, if something's unresolved, if something's unresolved, I'm not saying people that are constructively busy are error in their ways, but life has this way, right? This way that sometimes we just have to go through doors and passages, face our shortcomings, and maybe redefine why we're angry or why we feel not a part of or why we feel overly responsible, all that stuff, right?
Oh, yes.
And that's the piece. That's the piece that I think cancer is an open invitation, and any disease condition is an open invitation to redefine and really do an assessment of one's life. And if people miss that piece, I'm sad for them.
Right. So the question is, when it comes to my own life, do I drive or am I driven? Is it an internal kind of unfolding? Am I working hard because of an inner juice, an inner motivation, or is this quality of freneticism and having to perform, having to people please, that sort of thing?
Right.
So I like how you said that this is for anyone who has even any kind of a health crisis or even emotional crisis in their lives. Some thought-provoking questions. Why do I think this has happened to me? What are the major frustrations in my life right now? What do I fear the most? On whom do I depend emotionally? What types of situations make me feel insecure? Am I comfortable expressing my most vulnerable feelings? Am I attuned to the emotional growth in my life? What do I love consistently each day in my life? Whom do I love consistently each day in my life? To what extent do I fully put myself out there each day? In what areas am I holding back? What am I keeping myself from saying, and to whom? And why is that? What am I keeping myself from doing? Why? What emotional issues stemming from unfinished relationships do I need to deal with now? What about later? What crutches do I use to get through the day? Have I attempted to address these crutches or cravings in the past? Am I feeling ready now? Is my need to be loved satisfied? Is my need to be needed satisfied? And finally, the last question, which of my passions generate more love in me each day? Wow.
That's page 90.
Yes, page 90. Page 90 of Treatable and Beatable. Carolyn Gross, Healing Cancer Without Surgery. And, Carolyn, these questions can be, this can be a 1-week retreat, at least.
Yeah.
Just these questions. They are brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so you really had to come face to face with yourself, didn't you?
All the way. And once I got there, I realized I had to stay all the way for the rest of my days.
Yes.
So I love to tell this, and I know we're getting towards the end a little bit. Maybe, yeah. So I love to tell this to people that are, enjoying some of these stories and ideas that we're saying. Well, at Thanksgiving, it's actually my birthday, that time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, and it doesn't have anything to do with the food. I like the family and the fellowship, but it's not about the food for me, okay? But really, for the last 13 years, and you know how the country and how we go around the table and say what we're grateful for and have our little rituals, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, the last 13 years, at Thanksgiving, I say, thank God for cancer. I have learned so much. And now I have to say thank God for cancer and cancer patients, because I've learned so much about people. I am more than busy.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody who started her business 19 years ago, I don't ever start a Monday going, what are we going to do this week? It's almost like, how are we going to get through it, right?
Yes,
we have a lot going on, and we've got to manage it well because of our health and because we don't want dizziness. But, it's just, that's what my experience with immunotherapy, treatable and beatable, being graced with the gift of the future of cancer treatment, gave me.
So Carolyn, my dear,
thank you.
we do have to close this show.
Yes.
Flew by, and I hope you come on to Just Relationships again.
Absolutely.
And, yes, and what I
have another book.
Yeah,
No worries.
right. No worries. Another book.
Get on your show. I'll write a book.
Oh, you sweet thing. You're so sweet. And I love your laughter, Carolyn. And I just love that you actually turn this around and can say thank God for cancer, because I learned so much. You are nothing short of amazing, my dear. So I wish you many blessings. And I'm so happy for you. Not only did you beat cancer, but that you have gone from a cancer survivor to a cancer thriver. And if anyone is interested in reading this fine book or passing it on to people who could be helped by it, Treatable and Beatable, Carolyn Gross, Gross, at treatableandbeatable.com, or just go to amazon.com, and it's a wonderful gift. Thank you, dear. Be well, and next time.
All right.
Okay.
Until we meet again.
Thank you. And this is Dr. Duffy Spencer saying goodbye for now and wishing you great relationships.